Hey Raymond, Dave from Cook and Cheer here. I'm going to request that you make up some shumai. I was just at a restaurant and had some. It was absolutely delicious, but I think you could do a good job too.
Hello and welcome to The Art of Cooking. As a request from a fellow YouTuber, today we're going to make the Cantonese version of siu mai, aka pork, shrimp, and mushroom dumplings. It's often found in dim sum restaurants, yam cha, and it's often ordered along with ha gao, which is shrimp dumpling. You will often hear people order like this, ha gao siu mai. Here are a few characteristics of siu mai. The filling should be tightly packed, so when you bite into it, it should be al dente. In Cantonese, it's dang nga. The shrimp should have a crunchy and firm texture to it. Lastly, there should be full of savory flavors bursting in your mouth after each bite. So let's get started. Soak 3 to 4 pieces of shiitake mushrooms overnight in water. You can also soak it in hot water for about half an hour to an hour. Next, devein fresh shrimp using a toothpick. Make sure the shrimp is really fresh. Here is 12 ounce or 340 grams of 40 to 50 count shrimp. Add in 3/4 teaspoon of salt, 3 teaspoons of cornstarch or potato starch, it doesn't matter, 2 teaspoons of water, and mix. Let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes. This will make the shrimp crunchy in texture. Next, cut 10 ounce or 284 grams of lean pork into approximately 1/4 inch or 5 millimeter cubes or smaller. You could also use ground pork if you like. Here's basically the reason why I'm not using ground pork. Cut it in small, it will give the siu mai some texture when biting into it. Now, if it's too big, the siu mai will not taste good because the meat is supposed to be firm. At the same time, it should fall apart when you chew it. So just run your knife across it a couple of times. Next, cut 5 ounce or 142 grams of pork fat into approximately 1/8 of an inch or 3 millimeter or smaller. The fat will moisten the siu mai during the steaming process to prevent it from drying out. Again, if it's too big, run your knife over it several times to cut it into smaller pieces. Next, wash, rinse, and set the shrimp aside. This is the basic technique for getting the shrimp firm and crunchy in texture. Next, squeeze excess liquid from the shiitake mushrooms. Cut 2 ounce or 57 grams of soaked shiitake mushrooms into 5 pieces. We are going to use a mixer using a flat beater to mix the ingredients together. 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of white pepper, 2.5 teaspoons of potato starch, and beat it. Turn to the lowest speed first, as we are going to increase the speed later on. Now gradually increase the speed to medium-low, and then to medium. Beat the pork until it sticks to the side of the bowl and the beater. As you can see, bits of pieces of pork on the side of the bowl. The reason for doing this way is to make the meat sticky, but also making it firm when it's steamed. This will also further reduce the size of the pork, but we will still have some bits of pork pieces to bite on. Next, add in the 12 ounce or 340 grams of shrimp. Again, start out low speed, then gradually increase the speed to medium. The shrimp will break apart during the mixing process. Some of the shrimp and the pork parts will form into paste, while others will retain its form. Beat the mixture until the shrimp are incorporated into the meat. You should also see that the shrimp are broken into smaller pieces by now. You should also notice by now that the mixture is very sticky. Now add in 2 ounce or 57 grams of chopped shiitake mushrooms, 3 teaspoons of sugar, ½ teaspoon of chicken powder, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, and continue to mix until the ingredients are incorporated. Lastly, add in the 5 ounce or 142 grams of pork fat and 1 teaspoon of sesame oil. Use low to medium-low speed to combine all the ingredients together. If you add in the fat and the oil in the early stage of mixing, the lean pork and the fat and oil will not bind together easily. Essentially, the lean pork will not form a sticky-like paste if you add in the fat and the oil in the early stages of mixing. You should see all the ingredients are sticking to each other by now. This is what gives it that characteristics of the al dente feature. In Cantonese, it's called dang nga. So, it's time to wrap. Make sure to use thin wonton wrappers or dumpling wrappers if you can't find any wonton wrappers. First, place the filling in the middle. Then, push aside and forming a C cup. The filling should stick to the butter knife. Then, use your other hand to form it into a shape. At the same time, spinning it around. You should also push the filling downward with your butter knife to pack it firmly and tightly. The top should be flat while the side on the bottom should be slightly thicker than the top. Also, each siu mai should be about roughly the same height. Now let's assemble. Use a parchment paper with holes cut out in them to allow the steam to enter. If you don't have parchment paper, just use cabbage leaf or napa leaf. Decorate each siu mai with crab roll, fish roll, or carrot. A pea may be used as well. Any decoration is fine, as long as it looks enticing. That's all that matters. In a pot or wok, bring water to a boil. Steam for about 9 to 10 minutes. Since my siu mai is a little bit bigger, it will need 10 to 11 minutes. Smaller siu mai will need about 9 minutes. As I mentioned before, the shrimp should be bouncing and dancing in your mouth along with the pork. In fact, they should be making out together. And if you throw in the pork fat, oh yeah, now we're talking about threesome. Way better than twosome. Hey, at least the shrimp is being unshellfish right now. Usually they are shellfish, but once you take their clothes off, shell off, they turn into a completely different animal, especially when you treat them right. So today's request was by Dave from the Cook and Share. Now if you've never heard of his channel, he makes all different types of cuisines shared by viewers like yourself. And his videos have similar layout as mine, which is awesome because it makes it easier for you guys to learn and cook. So please check out his channel by clicking on this screen, and this screen shall teleport you over there. Finally, please visit my website, and there you can vote on the next video recipe, and you can also print it out as well. As always, please like, fave, subscribe, share, and leave a comment below. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial.